So tonight, what I want to go through with you guys, only about spending about 7 minutes on each of these topics, is I want to go through some tips that I have for you in terms of how to retain your clients into 2014. So what I have found, even in this last week, is a couple of people were ready to sort of say, oh, I need to have a break, or, should we pause and all that sort of stuff. And once we had a conversation, we were able to see the value in them continuing and not breaking their momentum. One of my biggest things that I tell my clients is that if you stop your journey in terms of if you're getting mentored and you have, say, a 2-month break now, it's going to take you 4 months on the other end to gain that momentum back up. It's so important that you guys build up your momentum in your businesses, especially if your business tends to have a quieter period over Christmas. Before I went to Europe, when did I go? September. I built up momentum for about 12 weeks, something amazing. So the 5 weeks I was away, and when I returned, it didn't feel like I had even left. So momentum is very, very important in business, and this is why Christmas time is so important, that we actually don't stop the activities and the consistency that we have in our businesses. Then I want to talk to you a little bit about setting up for a successful 2014, and I'm going to use my diary to just show you what I do, because a lot of people get me to do it on the webcam. Here, this is how I do it. I want to show you what I do. And then I just want to talk a little bit about your marketing plan and what to do in 2014 and how I've been helping some of my clients, because if a lot of you don't know, I do consult a lot of people. I'm winding it down in 2014 because there's so many other projects we've got on the go, especially with the weekend, the Ultimate 48 Hour of the weekend. But still, these are things that I'll continue doing in my business. Are you cool with that? Yeah? You want to know all of this stuff? It's going to go fast. You're going to want to ask lots of questions. But these are my top 3 tips around client retention. So, number 1 is discuss value ahead of time that you will be adding to your client in their experience in 2014. So, example, yesterday I was speaking to one of my clients, and without, intuitively I do it nowadays without planning, but we sat down for the session and I was just saying, this is what we'll do in December, January. I set out her 3 months as to what we were going to be learning and implementing, whether it was webinars, workshops and all that, and about halfway through our 90-minute session, she said, you know what, Nat? I walked into the call today, I was prepared to tell you that I was going to have a 2-month break and to restart in February, but that's silly. She goes, you've now painted this picture for me as to how things will be, and you have shown me the value that I will get from you, as well as what we'll be doing together. So what I have found, from about November, I gear up to tell my clients what's happening over the next 3 or 4 months. And actually, I booked them in right across. So Robin and I the other day, didn't we book right through to January? And we sat down, we said, yep, let's set it all out there and work out when we're having our breaks and have that continuity. So that's my second tip for you, is booking your clients from now closer to the, when you're getting close to the new year. So if you're getting into November, I'd be booking December, especially if you're having a break. So always have that in your mind and start working on that in November. And all your new inquiries that are coming in and saying, oh, I want to start something in 2014. Well, let's book it in. I mean, you know how fast time flies? Like, before you know it, it'll be the 15th of January and you'll be chatting to that new person. And when someone books in with you, it's kind of that law of, what is it called? The law of
attraction.
Commitment. What is it?
Attraction?
No. There's a law where someone makes a
reciprocity?
No, not reciprocity. That's another one. What is it?
That's a big word.
Oh, no.
I'll figure it out.
Natasha's law.
Natasha's law. Yeah, no, there is a law that says if someone makes a commitment and they put pen to paper that they're going to do something, they tend to stay with it. It was talked about in one of the books I've read, but I've just forgotten the name. Why don't I post it up on Facebook, because it's really niggling at me. So those are my top 3 tips that I do every single year. And even when I meet clients out and about throughout the year, if they're telling me I want to start in 2 or 3 months, yep, let's book a time. Always book a time. Always have my diary ready. I have my iPhone ready. I use a manual diary as well as my iPhone, so Stuart can know my movements, and so can Donna, because otherwise my paper diary is only for me and they just don't know when to call me. So always very important that those things are happening, as well as that you are responding to people quickly. So nowadays we live in a very fast, instant, I want it now kind of society. So if you're not following up on your leads promptly under 24 hours, I know I'm being quite strict here in saying that, but this is how you get business across. Follow up, follow up, follow up. Tonight, if you meet lots of new people, pick up their business cards, send them an email in 24 to 48 hours to say, hey, lovely to meet you, connect with them on Facebook, and start that relationship. Business is about relationship marketing, okay? I don't feel I need to sell to people. I just kind of build relationships and the sales happen really organically. Is that cool? Mm-hmm. Any questions around this little topic here? I know I'm rushing it through because there's obviously so much I could say about that. Does that sound like you can do that? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Did any of you think of some of those ideas, or I think the very first one there, discuss value ahead of time, is one of the big ones. If you get any of the three, I would go to the first one, because people like to have that vision and that picture as to what is coming. Yeah? And once they know that's coming and that the year is not really finalising, then they're happy to continue their journey across to the new year. But look, you'll have some clients just say, look, I just want to stop and have a break, and you can't do anything about that. All right. Now, setting up for a successful business in 2014. So here comes my diary. Stuart and I went away 2 weeks ago to Rye with our kids, and we sat down and we planned how we're going to do our $1 million year next year. And we said, okay, this is what we want to do, and what are the products and services we need to sell in order to get that. So we worked backwards. We had the figure, and then we worked out what all our income streams are and what did we need to sell as a result of that, the amounts of that we needed to sell. So at the back of my diary, that was I did it in my 2014 diary, it's not in this one, but I did it in that one. And what we then did is actually wrote the actions we needed to take as a result to make that happen. How many webinars, how many workshops, how many interstate trips? We're going to go to the US, we're going to X networking events, 2 networking events each of us every week, 2 brand new conversations with people every week. We had a list of about 25 different activities, and I looked at it and I go, whoa, that's a bit full on. And however, when you break it down, which is coming in the marketing plan, it doesn't seem that hard. Because if I went back in 2013 and saw what I have actually done and the activities that I've taken, it's probably the list is identical, you know. So we broke it down, we wrote down the actions we needed to take, and we kept brainstorming throughout the weekend whenever we think of something different. And we said some new things that we wanted to try as well. Now, my goal setting, my favourite topic. I know goal setting is become very familiar and people ignore it because it's just same old, same old. But it's so powerful. Even before I became a coach, at the age of 17, every time I get my diary at Christmas, always get a Christmas gift diary, I'd write down a list of things I wanted to achieve, not so much in the specific order that I do it now. However, I always did it, and when I learned how to do it even more proper by setting them in the present tense and writing them as if I was already in possession with them, making them specific, measurable, attractive, realistic, and time-bound. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you like, guys, I'll send you my goal-setting booklet because we don't have enough time. I've got a hard copy ebook, book thing there, but I'm happy all of you in the room today to have my 20-page ebook so you can actually learn the system, because I don't have enough time to take you through it. But I set 90-day goals and 1-year goals on the 1st of January religiously. That's the thing. Once I get up and I'm okay after the New Year's Eve celebration, I sit down and do my goals. So here are my goals that I set back on January. So my 1-year goals, it's December 31st, 2013, and they're there. And then my first quarter 90-day goals. So they're all in different colours, and they're all for different things. So I set goals around career, my relationships, family. I do health. I do I think I do 2 or 3 in business, and then I do relationships and health, because that's one of my biggest values. So sometimes, if you want to do well in an area, maybe set 2 or 3 goals around that area, okay? Because what you focus on is what you get. And sometimes we're focusing on way too many different things in our lives. We may not do all of them that well. So it depends what you focus for that particular quarter. So sometimes I recommend to people to set goals around finances, business, business, relationship, family, and health. Those 5 areas. I think I might have missed one. But anyway, every quarter I set them, and then some are ticked off, and one's got a couple have a cross. But 80% of the time they come true. Okay? So 31st of March, 30th of June, and 30th of September are your quarterly setting dates, and then I diarise them. Okay? So in here, if we go to when I was in Italy on the 30th of September, I set my 90-day goals. So I actually write them at the start of the year. I write when I need to sit down and do them. And sometimes I might do it a couple of days before, just because I'm eager to get them done. And then when I sit down and I go, okay, what am I going to ask for now? Because be careful what you ask for, because you might just get it, yeah? And make sure you read them daily. Have you heard of the saying that millionaires read their goals daily, billionaires read them twice a day? Yeah? So make sure you do that. I actually don't refer to my annual goals. I actually always read my 90-day goals. And the other day I referred back to my yearly goals. Oh, shit, I've done it. I couldn't believe what I said. So I set a figure for my annual goal, as in sales goal, that was 90% higher of what I had achieved. So at the start of January, I had only achieved 10% of this figure in the previous 6 months. Okay? And then I sat there and I go, shit, how the hell am I going to do that? And then the other day I referred back to it and I go, oh my God, I'm bad. So that was really cool. So goal setting is very important. Why don't people goal set? Come on, give it to me. Lazy?
They don't know how.
They don't know how, right?
They don't believe it's going to happen.
Yeah.
What's that? They don't believe it's going to happen, yeah.
No vision.
They don't believe
they deserve.
Yeah. They don't deserve, yeah.
I think
So,
other people.
one of my favourite sayings, after seeing my little son at Christmas time when he was 3 years old, and you know what kids are like at Christmas, how they believe in Santa and everything, and how appropriate for tonight.
I still do.
When you set your goals,
I still do.
so do I. When you set your goals, you've got to believe like a little child believes in Santa. Like, it's going to happen, it's real, and that's it. Okay, so oftentimes what I also say, one of the big things up there that I put down, set a figure of your sales and your business, of what you want to achieve, but then double it. Okay? Because there's another saying, if you aim for the stars and reach the moon, do you think you'd be still pretty happy? Yeah? So double that. If you want 100,000, go for 200,000. If you want 500,000, go for 1 million. And if you want, and so on and so forth. Other reasons why people don't goal set is, as we said before, is they've become too familiar. It's like, oh yeah. But only less than 3% of people do it. And less than 3% of people are in the wealthy or financially independent category. You guys, have you heard the statistic that people at the age of 60, 24% are dead, 70 odd are on welfare, and only 5 are independent or wealthy. So where do we want to be? So the system works. It does. It has worked. Okay, marketing in 2014. Okay, so who here does a marketing plan? Who does a marketing plan? Hello. 1, 2, 3. So again, 3% of the room. 3% seems to be a figure, guys, actually around when people, say, invest in something or they go into a program in terms of the success rate, 3% of people tend to succeed. It's like this thing where, for me, it's always, I want to be that 3% or the 5 where it's financially independent or wealthy. So I'm always aiming for that. I want to be in that top segment. So figure out, sit down this year or in the next few weeks and figure out what activities gave you the biggest results this year? After about 18 months of business, I realised that networking, workshops, social media, and joint ventures were the 4 things that worked best for my business. And I just then kept doing them over and over and over again, and I just keep reaping the rewards without having to dilute my focus. Now, I'm not saying never to try anything new because there's so many other things that we can do. Today, Donna and I attended a publicity seminar where Stuart and I are going to attend the intensive 2-day course, and we are going to learn how to generate free publicity. Okay? Now, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a magic bullet. I know that. So remember, there's no magic bullets. We're going to work our butt off to work the system and see how we can get into the media. But there's that new strategy that we will be trying in 2014. So that's where I have made a suggestion each month, try one new marketing activity and test and measure. Now that might be a lot for some of you, but you can do one every 2 months and work out what's going on. Or with some marketing activities, what you might want to do is give them a go over a longer period of time, because sometimes if you try it for 1 month, you just may not have enough, you may not gain enough traction. Like networking. Networking doesn't just work if you go once in a month and then that's it. Networking takes you 6 to 12 months to actually see any results from it. If not, sometimes even longer. Was there a hand up? No? Cool. So, and then set a calendar of activities and when you will action them. Okay, now I know a lot of business coaches and consultants actually tell you to set your whole year out and all that. And Stuart and I actually did that at the beginning of this year. But did we follow it? No, because it was just way too far ahead. It's nice to do it as an activity, but 4 months is, I find, the magic number to actually really focus on. Like, when are we going to do this workshop? When are we going to do a webinar for this? When are we going to, what networking events? So I'd like to map that out into our diary. So I would focus intently in the next 4 months. So do it 3 times a year. However, at the start of the year, maybe plan out what are those actions, like we spoke about earlier in the in the previous slide. I think it was about mapping them out and working throughout them. So examples of marketing activities you've got down there. You've got networking, workshops, social media. It's huge. If you're not on there, you need to be on there, because our business is actually 90% nowadays. We generate our business from social media. From networking, it still happens. However, it's 90% social media. Google AdWords, Facebook advertising. I would prefer Facebook advertising over Google AdWords nowadays. Today we learned about publicity, how you can get your website really search engine optimized if you actually submitted your press releases to, what was it, Google News? Google News. Yeah, there you go, Justin. I thought that would be a good tip for
Google
you.
that when I get home, don't I?
Google News to submit the press releases, and what happens is when you get 20 high quality links back from media, like you've had a lot of media lately, your website just goes up to the top page. You don't need to pay any search engine people, but apparently not a lot of people are doing it, guys. So fresh out of the room this morning, and I know you'd follow that one out tonight. Joint venture setups, they're very powerful. When you're a small business or you're starting up and you don't have a big database, how can you build a relationship with someone? And these are pretty tough to set up. So as much as joint ventures are powerful, they're also tough to set up because you've got to build the relationship. Again, it's relationship marketing. And you need to have a win-win outcome. You can't just go and say, Donna, can I use your database and send people?
Sure, here you go.
Yeah, whatever. Well, Donna would, and so would I, because we've had a relationship for 2 years and we trust one another. We know that, she trusts my services and so do I, about vice versa. However, if I went to, who would I, don't I know that well, I don't know, Nadine, we would need to probably get to know each other more. So these kind of joint venture setups are the toughest kind of marketing activity. It comes maybe after you have a little bit more credibility into your business, that would be easier to set up, as well as when you have built those relationships. Coffee chats, cold calling, that's all marketing, okay? Having coffee chats, and don't forget coffee chats on Skype, because it works. Yes, ask people overseas, how many times America, I'll be up at 5 a.m. and going, okay, we're having coffee. Hello! Welcome. Print media, not so big on print media. It doesn't work. But I put it there. It's type of marketing. Expos, really good. Really good for data collection. And recently, the other week, we were at Wendy's event and we had an awesome lady speak about expos and relationship marketing and the purpose of them being to collect and grow your database rather than sell there. Email marketing. So I'm going to ask you the question no one wants to answer. Who here has a database? Oh, good! Is it 50% of the room? Well done, well done. The other week at our workshop, was it like we only had 2 hands up? So databases are so important because we need to be nurturing our database. We need to be adding value to our people, and from time to time they're making an offer because the money is in the list. I'm sure a lot of you have heard that. And email marketing is not just about someone opting. Say, do you guys know what an opt-in is on your website? Yeah. Lots of nods. So it's not about just the person opting in and getting a free ebook. It's about then what campaign are you going to take them through over a long period of time and perhaps forever until they unsubscribe. Okay, so you might add value, add value, add value. Oh, buy my book. Here's a special offer. Add value, add value, add value. Come to this workshop. Add value, add value, add value. Do you want to do the book weekend? You know, you need to build that relationship, and email marketing is the virtual way of building a relationship online. Is that cool? So there's many different ideas here. There's obviously stacks more. These are the main ones. Any questions around that? How am I going with time, Stuart? 20. Exactly on 20. 21 on my computer. Huh? Excellent. Perfect. Any questions about marketing? I'm happy to chat to you guys about this.